told this morning that Trump's defense team is likely to attack the credibility of a major witness in the Manhattan District Attorney's case, Michael Cohen. The former Trump lawyer was convicted
Is it Matthew Calamari? I thought it was Bobby Calamari. That makes it so much funnier if it's Bobby. Yeah, it is Matthew Calamari. Sorry. It's Matt Calamari. I fucked it up. I said Bobby Calamari, but it's actually Matthew Calamari.
Congress, among other financial crimes. He says he pled guilty to that, we should note. Says he has proof this morning that he is telling the truth here.
By the way, the NPR conversation surrounding this indictment is the most like middle of the road, centrist, let's give these guys a moment to like really defend themselves as bullshit I ever have fucking heard in my entire life. Of course, NPR First Take is just hitting the fucking middle note right there, right in the fucking middle, where they're just like, well, it's kind of seems like it's a silly thing to charge him over, well, they did basically try to prosecute this, but never did, without ever actually mentioning why they'd never prosecuted it, because he was the fucking president and he was literally like, you can't do this to me. I thought NPR was super neutral. Why does that seem shocked? Well, neutrality is understandable from NPR. It's just that they're also supposed to be objective and talk about the truth. On the one hand, this being a lighter offense in a sea of like much, much worse charges that could be brought up against them is fine, right? But on the other hand, making it seem like, there was a deliberate effort and a serious investigation into Donald Trump prior, and that is the reason why he will most likely go scot-free is stupid.
I am a convicted felon. I am a disbarred lawyer, but I also brought the documents. There's plenty of testimony, corroborating testimony to go around. And at the end of the day, we have an indictment today. Yeah. So clearly, that means that the information provided was more than enough for the grand jury to come back with a determination for an indictment. Oh, by the way, for Donald, since we're talking about convicted felons, see you on Tuesday, pal.
Joining us now is Jim Trusty. He is a current attorney for Trump in the Department of Justice probe into the 2020 election, as well as the investigation involving classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Good morning, Jim, and thank you for being here. You're not representing Trump in this Manhattan case, we should make clear, but you are on his legal team. Obviously, you spend a lot of time with him. Do you expect that he's actually going to surrender himself on Tuesday, as we've been talking about?
Yeah, I don't have any inside info to share on that. I mean, we'll sort through it. We'll deal with the process. I think right now we're dealing with the enormity of the injustice.
I'm not going to say anything.
Shock of seeing people like Mike.
It's hard for me to hold it in, but I'm not going to say anything about this one, okay? But, like, come on. His last name is Trusty? Are you fucking joking? Hey, this is my lawyer. His name is James Trusty. Bro, what the fuck? This is literally like if this was on television, I'd be like, oh man, these guys are just trying to, they're lapping this up. Like there's no fucking way. There's no way that you have a cartoonish lawyer by the name of Jimmy Trusty. Like that, this is so stupid. I would be like, come on, like, be a little bit more creative. Really? Bobby Calamari and Jimmy Trusty? Like, what's next, dude? Antonio Pepperoni? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, that's his other lawyer?
Michael Cohen touted as credible witnesses.
Yeah, Saul Goodman.
Avenatti as a character witness, I don't know. But it's a really astounding bad moment in the history of this country.
Why do you say that?
Because we've got a completely politicized prosecution. You know, your last segment, you had folks that actually talked openly about CNN appearances by Alvin Bragg running for office saying, I will target Donald Trump. I mean, that is not something to gloss over lightly. That is an upside down world of criminal justice where we don't follow evidence. We don't act judiciously as prosecutors. And I was a prosecutor for 27 years. Okay, so I have some background on this. You've got people that announce politically they're going to target an individual. That is not the rule of law. That is not what this country was built upon. And so when you talk about Donald Trump being angry, he should be. I mean, I'm amazed he's not, more apoplectic, but he is right to be angry at political persecution, which is what this case is.
Is he angry? Have you spoken to him since this indictment happened?
No, I don't talk about that kind of stuff. Sorry, Caitlin.
What's your sense of what happens
I'm angry.
between...
How about that?
What's your sense of what happens between now and Tuesday?
Well, look, I'll tell you, the big picture is, if you're representing him on the New York case, you've got a lot of stuff to be focusing on, but one of them is going to be pretrial motions. I know Ellie in the earlier segment talked about how that's a part of the process. You don't usually win on a pretrial motion saying, hey, the government's got the worst witnesses imaginable, even if that happens to be true. You win on legal issues, and this case is all about, it looks like from the outside right now, mental gymnastics that don't add up. I mean, legal gymnastics that are going to fall apart. So I would think in very short order, you'll see a motion to dismiss or several motions to dismiss talking about this kind of impossible theory of stacking a federal crime.
This is my lawyer, Mr. Win the Casey. Yeah, Mr. Win the case. Like, what do you mean? It's just, hey, it's the case. Hey, what are you talking about? Okay. Yeah, no, they got nothing. These classified documents. No, the point about the classified documents case is not that he had them at this point. It's more so that he tried to obstruct the normal processes, which they literally immediately implemented on both Mike Pence and also Joseph Robinette Biden. If you remember, after the Trump shit popped off, they did this exact same thing to Mike Pence, and they did this exact same thing to Joseph Robinette Biden. And their reaction to the investigation was certainly not similar to Donald Trump's. In many ways, it didn't make sense that Trump personally decided to not collude with the authorities or even claim that he was actually collaborating with the authorities. And then sometimes he kept some of the files hidden for no fucking reason whatsoever. It just made no sense. It made no fucking sense.
Into a state misdemeanor, statute of limitations issues, and very importantly, the intent to defraud that's an element of these false record-keeping charges. That's just not present here under even the most dreamy of Michael Cohen moments. It's not part of the case. So there's a lot to look at. I think there'll be pretrial motions that'll be hugely important and well-founded to dismiss this travesty.
Those motions to dismiss that you say you're expecting, will those come before the indictment is unsealed on Tuesday, or what is your expectation there?
Yeah, I don't know about the exact timing. I think the practical problem is, we don't even have a case number. Keep in mind, with Donald Trump, there are no rules. So once again, we have sealed proceedings that have been leaked publicly that we're all talking about. I mean, it's just kind of an amazing breakdown of due process and fair play. So we don't even have a case number at this moment, but it'll be soon. I think this will be something you can expect in days or weeks, not weeks or months.
Okay, so you say there will likely be a motion to dismiss this. That's important. You are representing Trump in the January 6th investigation, in the classified documents investigation. There are several investigations now facing him, including with this indictment. How does the legal team manage all of these investigations at once?
Well, we've got a good team. We've got a lot of different...
You kidding me, lady? You know how many Italians? You know how many fucking Italians are in the tri-state area working on this right now? Don't make me bring up Bobby Calamari. We got more Italian lawyers working on this than ever before, all right? You fucking kidding me? They don't call me Jimmy Trusty for no fucking reason. Got a bunch of real lunch pail guys over here. They're fighters, all right? They're fucking fighters. We got Giovanni Carbonara. We got Alfredo Spaghetti. I'm just naming fucking foods now. Fuck it. We're taking no fucking days off. I found an Antoni pepperoni Oh, dude, Trump is about to hire this man, dude. Anthony Pepperoni, lawyer serving New York and Staten Island. This guy looks exactly like every other lawyer, by the way. He looks like every other lawyer that Trump has hired. I'm surprised he hasn't hired him yet. Forget about it. Forget about it.
People with a lot of different backgrounds and experience. I will say that the one common thread that I'm seeing is somebody who was associated with DOJ for 17 years and watching what's happening unfolding in New York is prosecutorial overreach. There's an ends justify the means mentality that is unlike anything I've ever seen in prosecutorial circles. You've got people like Letitia James, now Alvin Bragg, announcing we will get him. You've got an attorney general.
Yeah, that's what, okay, this is really stupid. That's what DAs say and do. That's their job. What do you mean? You can't. One thing that's happening here that's really funny as a counter is Trump's team of lawyers constantly going on fucking news media and talking about what DAs do all the time. That's their fucking job. Yeah, they're saying we're investigating, which is what they're supposed to do, okay? And that there's enough evidence, it seems, for us to possibly prosecute him and get him. We're going to get him. That doesn't imply that that doesn't imply that there is any sort of wrongdoing on their front. Which is pretty weird because half of the defenses of Donald Trump has been well, he did this, but it's not that big of a deal, which is true, right? And then the other half is well, he did this, it's not that big of a deal. He's done way worse shit, which is also true. And then they just immediately go, oh, well, it's really fucked up that you're holding my client holding my client accountable. That's actually pretty fucked up. It says a lot about society, actually.
General of the United States doing press conferences after a search warrant, which is completely unprecedented and unethical. And so what we do is, we kind of shadow the investigations, figure out the actual facts, and find ways to litigate, often under seal, some of the issues that are just rolling through these heavy-handed investigations into the president.
He's
got plenty of resources to bear to fight back.
You noted all the attorneys who are on the team. How many exactly are there? How many attorneys are there representing Trump at this time?
Oh, I don't have an exact
dude.
Number.
Yeah,
sorry.
When you talk,
as many Italians are out there, that's how many fucking lawyers he's got. You fucking kidding me? You asking me a question like that? Every day there's a new Italian in Staten Island that passes the fucking bar. We immediately hire him onto the fucking team over here. Get the fuck out of here.
Trump has continued to attack him. He faced criticism over the weekend after there was a link that he posted on Truth Social that had a photo of Trump holding.
The thing that I do find very funny is Trump has two types of lawyers, okay? One, Italian guys that have been on his team for 25 to 40 years, okay? And then two, the lawyers that you have to hire because you've literally fucked over every other lawyer in some way, shape, or form from every other high value business, business law fucking corporate law firm. So that's he has he is scraping the fucking bottom of the barrel for some of the worst lawyers you've ever seen.
Holding a baseball bat next to a picture of Alvin Bragg. Is it inappropriate for your client to
and the
post
hot
things
ones?
like
Yeah,
that,
he has the hot
attacking
attorneys
district
too.
Attorney, calling him an animal, calling him a racist?
Well, as I understand it, the meme that got retweeted didn't actually have the image until it showed up on Truth Social. So he didn't actually know that there was this baseball.
Yeah, no, he's been calling Alvin Bragg, a black district attorney, an animal and a thug, nonstop, okay? He also calls Alvin Bragg, just like he did with Letitia James, who also happens to be black, a thug or someone who is a anti-white racist, okay? You look like 30-year-old Matthew Calamari. It's true. He fucking does over here. He does. Dude, Matthew Calamari is so powerful. I fucking love him. Oh my God. One of my immediate new favorites in the Trump verse. He's their head. He's the chief operations officer. You know he's beating the shit out of some people at Trump Plaza. Okay? You just know. Yes, his last name is really Calamari. Also, strongest hairline. Possibly better hairline than Ethan Klein, as a matter of fact. I gotta pee.
Baseball bad image thing. Look, it's unfortunate that happened, and there's a lot of room for an emotional reaction from anybody. Any client I have would be angry at this point. But the general concern that President Trump has, and I think it's a very genuine one, is that this is not even just about him. Yes, he's being targeted for political persecution, but this is an attack on the fabric of our system, on the whole presumption of innocence, due process, prosecutorial ethics. I mean, all of this is in play under that category of rule of law. And I'm as frustrated as anyone to see this kind of change in a system that heretofore had been the best in the world.
You're representing Trump on the classified documents matter. Did he still know that there were classified documents still at Mar-a-Lago after a subpoena came to return those documents?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into facts of any investigation that's pending. What I can tell you is,
you can't
as
say
a
whether or not he
president of
knew
the
if there were
United
still
States,
documents there.
Well, Caitlin, do you really expect that we're going to have that kind of conversation? I think you know better. But the reality is the president has every right. We entrust presidents under the Constitution to know state secrets, to be familiar with these things, to even hold on to documents and determine which ones they're going to hold on to and which ones they're going to give to the archivist. So criminalizing that process was absurd. That's nothing that's ever happened in history. You've got thousands of classified documents sitting in Chicago for the Obama Foundation, no similar treatment. And that's really what President Trump is fighting about, and that's what we're fighting about, is the idea that somehow this whole criminal justice system can be turned on its head because of him. You know, one person gets differential treatment across the board, whether it's criminalizing a civil dispute about documents, whether it's ignoring peaceful words on January 6th, or threading together this ridiculous misdemeanor through the least credible witnesses you can imagine in New York. It's only him. He's the only one that gets that treatment, and we're going to fight back hard.
Well, I think it's a fair question to ask, given the Justice Department wanted those documents
So
back.
fucked
We've
up.
seen the fight that played out. But Jim Trusty, representing President Trump
Jim
right now,
Trusty,
thank you for
baby.
joining us this morning. Thank you for your
Thank you very much, Jim Trusty. Okay, this is the last thing that we're going to look at, and then Michael Pence, and we got a lot going on other than the Trump indictment, obviously. And we got the Trash Taste podcast that we're going to take a look at as well. We're going to be reacting to over here later as well. Remember, there's a lot going on today. We fucking gaming? So do I hear gaming in the fucking chat? Maybe a little bit later.